I want to stop by today, Polk County, and say that just to let you know you're very important people. In fact, you're among the most important 4% of Americans. So let me explain what I mean by that. Let's go back 4 years. A heavily armed man walked onto a U.S. military base. He opened fire on our servicemen and women while yelling Allah Akbar. 13 were killed, another 29 were wounded. We soon found out that the man had connections to a radical sheikh who was a leader of Al-Qaeda. What was the response of the Obama administration? It was to say that that was workplace violence. And by not designating that as terrorism, those soldiers and their families were denied the benefits that they were rightly deserved. We all know the IRS has been caught red-handed trying to shut down Tea Party groups, other conservative groups, and what has been the Obama administration's response? To plead the fifth and to deny there's a problem, and to this minute, very minute, no one has been held accountable. And we all know the tragic events that occurred around Benghazi. And when asked who was responsible for this, Hillary Clinton told Congress, quote, "What difference does it make?" unquote. Well, to me, folks, I think it makes a lot of difference. I think this administration must be held accountable. And not just for these scandals, but for the scandalous far-left agenda that this president is forcing on our country. Obamacare, more taxes, a return to the welfare state, gutting the Defense Department, our national defense, and even spying on each and every one of our citizens. And perhaps the most disturbing of all is their absolute spending spree that is going to double our national debt in 8 years. It took us 224 years to get here, and Obama's going to double it in 8 years. Now, what's the one thing that stands between this radical agenda and its further enactment into law? One thing: a Republican House of Representatives. The National Democrats have targeted this district, this very district, in their red to blue program. Because if they can switch only 4% of districts, 17, from Republican to Democrat, next January Nancy Pelosi will wield the Speaker's gavel, and Barack Obama will be given a blank check for the next 2 years to complete his dream of fundamentally changing America. And I think that's why Pelosi is personally supporting the Democrat in this race, and going so far as even have held a fundraiser for her in San Francisco, if you didn't know that. So you are in the 4% of Americans who will determine whether Pelosi and Obama get what they want, or whether the House can continue to defend liberty and to defend our Constitution. Your choice in this is important. And it must not be for someone just who shares our values. Now let me stress, that's very important. But it should also be for someone who knows you, knows Iowa, who knows how to deal with the media to get our message out, who knows how to run an effective campaign so that we can win this swing district in November. And I am seeking your nomination because I believe I best fit those requirements. I know this district from growing up in Shenandoah, going to college in Indianola, living in Guthrie County, and now I'm a resident of Polk County. Like you, I've worked the grassroots. I've been attending these county conventions for 20 years now, and I know some of you have got a few years on me, but I'm working hard at it. And I went on to full-time activism, doing things like running Chuck Grassley's re-election effort, or being Steve Forbes' National Deputy Press Secretary when he ran for president. And then I returned to my farm roots. I was a farm boy growing up, and I became the national spokesman for the Renewable Fuels Association in Washington, D.C. But when it was time to start a family, my wife Tina and I made a choice to come back to Iowa. And we didn't do it to run for office, it was several years ago. But we did return to Iowa for the Midwest values, and to ensure that our children would always call Iowa home. And when I got back here, I took over the reins of the Iowa Renewable Fuels Association, and we've had great success in promoting renewable fuels and ethanol, powering the ag economy, which has powered Iowa's economy. So when I talk about improving the economy, it's not just talk, it's something I've actually helped with. So when Representative Latham announced his retirement, we made a family decision to get into this race because of our family. The huge debt that is being piled on my children's backs and their generation is not only unconscionable, it's immoral. And dealing with that debt through pro-growth policies and spending restraint will be my #1 priority if elected to Congress. Now, I'm also with the majority of Republicans in favoring a balanced budget amendment, lower taxes, protecting our borders, respecting the Second Amendment, and protecting innocent life. But to help govern, you must first be elected. Now, former Congressman Greg Yancey has joined with John King and who is Steve King's brother, to co-chair my campaign. And we're very, very happy about that. So no other candidate has the experience in advocating for conservative candidates and causes and dealing with the media like I do. You're in the 4%. You're going to chart the future course for this country. So God bless you as you make that decision, and God bless Iowa.